Okay, good evening, Kalapika.
Yes, ma'am.
So before I conduct your test, we'll complete with speaking and then I'll begin with listening, reading, and writing. Is that fine?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Uh, could you please tell me your name?
My name is Kalapika Vatsal.
Okay. Kalapika, by what name I can call you?
You can just call me by my first name, that is Kalapika.
Okay. What do you like to do in your free time?
Basically, I'm fond of doing crafting, and I just watch some DIY videos and I try to make the stuff.
How does watching these videos help you?
Basically, there are different steps about how to make that thing, and so by following those steps, I can get the thing made.
Let's talk about hometown. Where do you live?
I'm currently living in a small city that is Vadodara, which is surrounded by a river called Vishwamati, and there is also a Mahi river near my city.
What is the oldest place in your hometown?
The oldest place that I think of is the Royal Palace, where uh, Ka-
Hmm.
Sayajirao Gaikwad, the king from older times, lived there.
Okay. Are you interested in history or learning history?
No, definitely not. I believe that history is quite boring, and I do not like memorizing the numbers and the names of the king and the years.
Okay. Please write down your cue card topic. Describe a journey. Describe a journey that did not go as planned. Describe a journey that did not go as planned. In that, write down where you were going, where you were going, how you were traveling, how you were traveling, what went wrong, what went wrong, and explained what you would do differently. And explain what would you do differently. You have 1 minute to prepare. Please start preparing. Done?
Yes,
Okay. Now you can start speaking. You'll be having 2 minutes to speak over your topic. Just a second.
uh,
Start.
so talking about the journey that was very bad according to how we planned. So first of all, we decided to go to Mount Abu as we were having vacation a few days after our examinations were over, and moreover, it was a very relaxing time, and me and my friends decided to plan this trip as the past few days were very stressful and very uh, tough as the examinations were going on. We basically planned to go by car as one of my friends know how to drive a car, and so we just took car of my friend, and uh, there were, I guess, 6 people, and we all just were so excited, and we all packed our stuff and our trekking shoes and everything. Um, the day we took off for the place, the weather was clear, and we thought it would be exciting to have a little bit sunny and a few rainy weather. But when we traveled half of the distance, the rain started to fall, and the um one of my friends, which was driving, he couldn't drive easily as there were
You can stop. You can stop. Do you think people should people should develop a habit to look for weather forecast before leaving their house?
yes, definitely. They should look to a weather forecast because it shows what the weather would be like in few days, and so they can plan their trip accordingly, and so that their trip won't go wrong.
Okay, if I talk about a social worker, do you love being a social worker?
Of course, that is the thing I enjoy the most because it it makes me feel complete because I help people, and it also makes them happy, and I feel
What do social workers do according to you?
well. According to me, social worker help needy people and poor people, and they also work for their rights, certain rights, and they protest for some.
Hmm.
They protest when government does something against their rights.
Should governments create more social work job opportunities?
Sorry.
Should governments create more social work job opportunities?
Uh, well, they should create more job opportunities for social workers because uh, people in my country do not uh, have a degree or something. So if they pursue their career in social working, so they could help people, and they also can have a career in that.
Lapika, 6.5 आंसर ये वस्तु जो ये एमसीक्यू नहीं आते हो बेटा try to implement ना
Uh,
all right next 17 ME405 Bhavya right
Yes.
okay Bhavya could you can you please tell me your full name
My full name is Bhavya Bhartiya Ram.
okay Bhavya while talking about Mm, let me see. Okay, transport. How do traffic problems affect you?
Well, where I live in Bharuch city, traffic rules are not implemented well. Like there is no traffic signal on the crossing, so there is always traffic jam on the crossing, and it makes very difficult to drive.
Okay. What traffic problems are there in your areas?
Generally, the traffic problems are, like I mentioned, no traffic signal, and the traffic police are not always there to control traffic. And second most problem is stray animals. They really bother the car riders in the monsoon season.
Okay. What is the most popular means of transportation in your country?
I would say the railway is the most used transportation system, as India has one of the largest railway networks in the world.
Okay. How do most people travel to work where you live?
Generally, people use buses as most of the people are doing jobs in corporate firms, so they provide their private bus system, and some go by their private vehicles or other services such as taxi and rickshaw.
Okay. Have you ever visited a farm?
Yes, my uncle lives in a farm which is located very near to my home, about just 20 kilometers away. So I usually visit there every weekend.
Does your country still use many traditional farming methods?
Uh, well, I would say that it is not very well technologically advanced. Many farmers, most of the farmers in my country are poor. So what they know is only traditional methods. So yes, they use traditional methods nowadays too.
Okay. Write down your Q card topic. Describe someone you respect. Describe someone you respect. Who the person is. Who the person is. How you know about this person. How you know about this person. What this person does. What this person does. And explain why you respect this person. And explain why you respect this person. Okay. Please start preparing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can now start speaking.
There are many people which have influenced my journey to this point, and one of the people is my uncle. His name is Girish Khambu. He is the one whom I respect the most. He is not directly related to me by blood. My father and he used to live in the same colony in the village, so they were really close friend. And from since our relationship is continuing, uh, uh, he is currently working as an assistant general manager in a corporate firm, which is Miranda Tools. He I respect this person particularly because he has helped my he is one of the most educated person in our family, and not he has guided not only me, but he had guided my father to pursue his masters in science, and he has a very major contribution in my father's role, in current role, as he is now professor in a chemistry field in a science college. From since he is continuously guiding our family, as he was the one who guided me to do engineering in mechanical field, as the company they are working is in core field of mechanical. Now I have as I have completed my engineering, he's uh, he's suggesting me to do the course of management from the experience that he has gained. He says that the combination of engineer and the manager is the best combination, which will help in every field and every aspect. And I
You can now
really
stop.
hope that I continue to get guidance from him.
You can now stop. Okay.
Okay.
Now moving towards your phase three, do you think that it is necessary to for parents to make their children learn to respect each and every person?
Yes, certainly it is necessary that parents should teach their children to respect elders, as throughout the until the age of 18 they do not really get exposed to such people, but after they get into college and further stages in life such as jobs, they have to deal with persons who are superior to them, and they should really know how to talk with them, communicate with them.
What are the most popular jobs in your country?
The corporate most of the peoples in my country do corporate forms in various organizations, and many people are government employees. Government jobs are one of the most attractive ones, as majority of the students are studying for such competitive exams, and ma- many people also own their private businesses.
What are the other factors beside money should people consider when choosing a career path?
Beside money, uh, f- uh, they should really see the factor that what job they are supposed to do, does it really make them enjoy their job, or does they really like to do that job, because job satisfaction is superior to having money that we get from job.
What occupations are children more likely to choose according to you?
Because currently it is trend in India to choose engineering and medical if they are good in maths, but the trend is changing year by year, as government is also implementing new policies. So variety of fields are there except engineering and medical, such as accounting, banking, and etc.
All right. I'll be scoring you again 6.5 bands. In all, it is good, but still you need grammar range. Okay.
Yes.
You need to take care of that complex passive. Use karwano bado. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next, 18ME045 Devansh, right? Okay. Devansh, starting with your phase one, could you please tell me what is your name? Okay. Devansh, if I talk about weekends, how do you usually spend your weekends?
Uh, I spend most of my weekends with my family, and also one of the day I spend with my friends, enjoying with them, and also spending time with them, gossiping.
Okay. What do other people in your hometown or usually in your country usually do on weekends?
Most of the people during weekends visits religious places or go somewhere out on weekend to spend their to spend their time with their family and relax because of the busiest hour they have spent on the uh, regular days.
Do you like the home where you grew up?
Yes, I like the home where I grew up because I have many memories, lovely memories with that home attached to me, and also I had a small backyard at my home which I used to play. So I definitely love my home where I grew up.
What kind of home would you like to live in when you're older?
When I get older, I like to live at a home which is not quite too big, but a small home which has a small garden at the backyard and also away from the cities so that I can relax and enjoy my old days.
Okay, fine. I'm giving you a cue card. Please write it down. Mm, okay. Describe a place near water. Describe a place near water.
Near water,
Yes. Where it is, where it is, how you get there, how you get there, how often you do there, how often you go there. Sorry, how often you go there, what you can do there, what you can do there, and explain why you like it. And explain why you like it. Done?
yes.
Okay. You can now start with your preparation. Please start. Please start speaking.
Yes,
Devansh,
ma'am.
start.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Uh, I live in a small city, Nadiad, which has around 7 lakes, and all the lakes are quite big, and many of the people in the past times used to visit those lakes as just sightseeing, but nowadays they are developed, and also most of the people uh, in my city used to visit that place. Now those lakes have footpaths around them, and also many fountains are built in between the lakes, which are quite attractive for the people living here and visiting it. Uh, there are two lakes which are situated near to my house, and it is around about 5 minutes from my house. I used to go at the lake with my friends on weekends, and I often go there twice or thrice a month, which is a good place to spend with my friends and my families, as it has a long walking path on the circumference of the lake, and usually up to 1 or 2 hours can be spent at that site. Also, there is a big garden for children, and also many stalls are kept around the lakes uh, for some snacks and what you for snacks and eating things. Uh, I like it because of the fountain and the lights they have done at every corners of the lakes. There are lights on the fountain which keeps changing, and it is attractive. Also, the lights can be seen from long distance, from the long distance.
You may stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming down to phase three, um, do you think that the spaces is important in a country?
Green spaces. Yes, green spaces are important in a country, and also there should be a green spaces situated at every city, as they reduce the pollution, and uh, also the people living near to it uh, feel feel fresh air, uh, feel quite well after visiting it, and also it has fresh air around it. Also, it
If I
attracts
talk,
the rain uh,
if I talk
towards
about
city.
the leisure, if I talk about a leisure activity, do you think going to movies is a waste of money and time?
Yeah, talking about leisure activities, many people like to visit movies or visit theaters for watching movies, but in my opinion, I think that visiting theater for movies is a waste of time and money, because the movies which are available at home, you can spend your time watching with your family at home rather than going to a theater, and also it takes time for traveling up to the theater, while you can just watch at your fingertips.
Is the film industry important for your country?
uh, yes, film industry is very important in my country, because majority of the films in my country film because in various states, almost all the states have their own film industry, and also these create a great revenue for the country. And most of the people used to watch films in their own regional language as well as national language. And it is and film industry of India is the largest film industry in the world.
Okay. Mm, what do you think about the importance of the film industry in modern world?
Film industry plays a quite good role in one's life because this uh, this give a specific good specific message to the youths, and also they teach they they teach the upcoming youths for their life. Movies which are based on a, a biopic of a hardworking and successful person gives the message of to the youthful how to be successful and do hard work. And yes, there are some movies which are not good, but it should be stopped. But there are more movies talking about South Indian movies which spread a good message towards to the family and a particular person.
Devansh will keep at 6 today. Okay. થોડા sentencesમાં લોચા કર્યા હતા. Not an issue. Can we now begin with our listening? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And કાલનું બી ટેસ્ટ મેં ચાલુ કરી દીધું છે. So make sure tomorrow we'll do the same. I'll take this speaking and then we'll start with listening, reading and writing. જેટલું સેશન થશે લાઈક ફોર 2 hours or 2.5 hours, એના પછી રાઇટિંગ જે બી બાકી હશે આઈ ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્ટ યુ આગળ. અત્યારે listening થી ચાલુ કરીએ. Okay, so please be ready with your
Yes,
question
ma'am.
paper.
Now, listening practice
Is it
tests.
audible?
Test 10. In the IELTS test, you hear some recordings and you have to answer questions on them. You have to
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Do you want me to increase the volume of it?
No,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
it is fine. Okay.
Okay.
time to read the instructions and questions and check your work. All recordings are played.
I'll be keeping it muted so that there is no voice coming. Computer no voice ચાલુ છે, તો I think you'll be able to hear it. Okay, computer sound में share કર્યો છે. Okay, કઈ હોય તો તમે directly message કરી શકો છો ગ્રુપમાં. Okay, કઈ અટકો તો. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's start.
Only once. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between an insurance broker and a client. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Okay, just the last confirmation. If I'm keeping it muted, are you able to still listen to the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then it's fine. Chalo.
You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good morning, madam. Can I help you?
Actually, yes.
I've just got a new flat and I'm going to move my things in tomorrow and I haven't got any insurance yet for my things. I'd like a quotation for my car insurance as well to see if you can give me a better deal. It's coming up for renewal soon, you see.
Fine, that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just take down some details. First of all, can I have your name, please?
Of course, it's Mrs. Norma Willis.
Good, that's Norman without an N, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
So, Norma is the correct answer. Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, as the recording is not played twice. Listen carefully to the conversation and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, madam. Can I help you?
Actually, yes. I've just got a new flat and I'm going to move my things in tomorrow and I haven't got any insurance yet for my things. I'd like a quotation for my car insurance as well to see if you can give me a better deal. It's coming up for renewal soon, you see.
Fine, that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just take down some details. First of all, can I have your name, please?
Of course, it's Mrs. Norma Willis.
Good, that's Norman without an N, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
And can I have the address that you're moving to, please?
It's Flat 8, Chepping Dean, 23 Dean Road, Westley.
Can you spell Chepping Dean, please?
Of course, Chepping is spelt Chepping, and Dean is spelt Dene. The name of the road, Dean, is spelt in the same way too.
And what's the postcode there?
It's WE3 9HT.
Can I take a telephone number?
It will have to be only my mobile, I'm afraid, as I haven't installed a landline yet. My mobile is 07525 745 642.
Let's look at the car insurance first, quickly. I need the model, age and engine size.
It's a 4-year-old Toyota MR2 sports car. It has a 2-litre engine.
Will it be parked in a garage, in a drive or in the road?
At my present address it's in the drive, but the flat I'm moving to tomorrow has a garage provided, and tenants are not allowed to leave their cars in the visitor spaces, so it'll be garaged all the time.
2 more questions. The first is, do you have any no claims bonus? And the second is, do you have any driving convictions?
I have 3 years no claims, but I had a claim for a new windscreen this year, and I don't know if that will affect it.
No, that won't count. The no claims will stand.
Good. As for convictions, I have 3 points for being caught speeding 2 years ago.
Before the conversation continues, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
Right, let's have a look at the household stuff now, while the computer is checking rates for the car. So, what kind of flat is it?
It's a 2-bedroom flat.
Have you bought the flat or are you renting?
I'm just renting it.
So you just need some household insurance for your possessions.
That's right.
First of all, can you give me a list of all the things that you want covered by the insurance?
Yes. First of all, there's my electrical goods, like my hi-fi, TV, DVD player, video player, a couple of radios, a hairdryer, my laptop and printer. I've estimated all the values of the electrical goods. There are various DVDs and CDs too. It should come to about £2,500.
Anything else?
Yes, there's my jewellery. I've some necklaces, bracelets, rings and brooches that I inherited. They're all in different metals and with different jewels. I've got a list itemising them all here. I've also got a small strong box which screws into a cupboard, so they're reasonably safe.
Anything else?
Well, just the usual kitchen stuff and clothes that I'd like to be included.
Okay, that's not a problem. Now I need to ask some things about the flat. What floor is it on?
Well, I wanted a first floor flat, but this is a ground floor one. I can use the garden with it, though.
Yes, but the premium will be a little higher because, of course, a burglar finds it more difficult to enter a flat on the first floor.
Oh, I never thought about that.
What about safety measures in the flat?
Well, there are 2 different keys for the front door, and one of them is a deadbolt, so that's quite good. I've been to the local shop and ordered a burglar alarm too, which has a motion sensor and everything. It's not in yet, but it will be soon.
That's good.
The windows are quite new and all double glazed, so like all windows nowadays, they have extra locks on them, so that makes it quite secure.
That's good too. So really it's reasonably safe. That will make a difference on the premium. Do you know if there's a smoke alarm fitted in the flat?
I never thought of that. I think it's the law now if you're renting, so there must be.
Well, that's about it. Let's look now. I've got 2 quotes for you. First the car and then the household. £750 fully comp for the car, or £500 third-party fire and theft. The contents is 100.
Does the contents cover me if I lose something or I'm robbed outside the home?
As long as it's in this country and on the list of items covered, yes.
Well, I'll keep the old car insurance as my present deal is better, and I'll take the contents. Can I pay by cheque?
Cash, cheque, credit card, anything you want.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a residence manager giving a short question and answer session to new residents. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully to the question and answer session and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simon, and I'm the manager of this residence. Most of you here today are new in the town of Wesley. Some of you are students at the uni, some have new jobs, and some have other reasons to be with us. When we have lots of new people staying with us, I do one of these little question and answer sessions so that I can help you settle in. So, let's get started straight away. Yes, over there.
Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm a student here. I was wondering where I can do my laundry. It won't be long before this is an urgent thing for me.
Here in the residence, we're planning a little laundrette beside reception. This might take a little time to organise. In the meantime, there's a little laundrette down the road. It's in Queen's Avenue, the same street that the residence is in. You go about 500 metres up the road in the opposite direction to the town centre, and it's on the right. They have plenty of machines and dryers, and there's a lady there called Betty who does service washers. You just need to drop it off, and it will be laundered, dried, and ironed the next day. It's a bit more expensive, of course, but good if you're lazy. Another question.
Hi, my name's Joe. I've got a new job at the other end of the high street. I was wondering which the best bus was to go there.
The best bus for the centre of town is the 38. That takes you straight to the square. If you work at the end of the high street, though, that still leaves you with about a 10-minute walk. The 39 goes to the train station, which is very near the end of the high street, so that's your best bet probably. The 39 is good for coming home late at night as well, as the station buses go on later than the other buses. There's the 35 bus too, for getting to the high street, but it goes to the near end of the high street, and it's a good 20-minute walk after getting off. Anyone else? You there?
I'm a student too. I'm new in the area and I have to register for my council tax. Do you know where I have to register?
Yes, we get lots of people in your situation. You other students need to do this too. First of all, get the information sheet from the Students' Union, which has lots of guidelines on registering and the discounts you should get. The Students' Union is in Newbolt Street. I'm sure you know that. The actual putting your name on the list, though, should be done at the town hall, which is right next to the square. Some people are told that you can do it at the police station, but that's just the registration for non-UK nationals, not the council tax.
You now have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the short question and answer session and answer questions 16 to 20.
Any more questions? Come on, I'm sure you must have some more.
Yes, I was wondering what we do in the case of a fire here at the residence.
Well, the first thing to do is to raise the alarm by setting off the electric alarm system. Then, if the fire's not big, try and use the fire extinguishers that you'll find round the residence. If the fire is in any way large, just get out and go to the assembly point on the front lawn. Try not to go in the front or back car parks, as that's where the fire brigade will set up their stuff. You don't need to call the fire brigade, as our residence alarm is linked up with their system. Make sure you read the fire notices around, so you know where the nearest fire escape is to your room. Don't panic and rush around. That gets people hurt. Just go briskly to the assembly point. Once every 6 months we have a fire drill, which is attended by someone from the fire service to make sure we're up to scratch. One of these might be at night, so be ready.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to ask what time the TV room closes for the night. It's just that my room is just across from it, and I don't want to be kept awake all night.
The usual cut-off time for the TV room is 11 p.m, although this is extended by 1 hour on Fridays and Saturdays. I know that some people want to watch late-night films, but then you'll just have to buy your own TVs for your rooms. If you do have a TV in your room, then please think of others and keep the volume down. We take a very dim view of people disturbing others in the residence. The same goes for the TV room itself. Just keep the volume levels down. Anything else from anybody?
I've got a question too, actually. I've got a job that will get me back late in the evening and I won't be always able to eat. Are there any good places nearby that deliver food?
The quick answer is yes. There are lots of places. There is an Indian nearby. Fish and chips is sold in a shop that is, funnily enough, run by a Chinese family. There is a good Thai restaurant, a Mexican, and an Italian pizzeria. They all deliver apart from the Mexican, but that's only 5 minutes walk away. All the telephone numbers are up on the residence notice board. The first time you order from each of them, just ask them to stick a menu into the bag, and you'll build up a library in no time. Now, let me tell you about...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear two students discussing a seminar report. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully to the discussion and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi Adrian, what are you reading?
Oh, hi Nick. It's just an article on Australian immigration. I'm doing a report on it next week in a seminar for Dr. Ronaldson.
On immigration? That sounds exciting stuff.
Yes, it's not really very exciting, but there are some interesting bits.
Such as?
Well, for example, did you know that immigration to Australia first started over 50,000 years ago, when the ancestors of Australian Aborigines arrived via Indonesia and New Guinea?
I can't say I did know that the Aborigines arrived in that way.
Exactly. It's not as boring as you might think.
Well, do you want to run through some of your ideas? I'm not doing anything right now.
That would be great, thanks.
Fire away then.
Okay, well, after the Aborigines there was obviously a big gap until the next settlers arrived from London. Europeans began landing in the 1600s and 1700s, and the country was colonised by Britain in 1788.
Weren't the first colonists just criminals transported by Britain?
Britain certainly used the colony as a place to send their undesirables. The first colony was formally proclaimed as New South Wales on February the 7th, and this European settlement certainly did begin with a troop of petty criminals, second-rate soldiers, and a crew of sailors.
When did the other people start arriving?
Immigration really sped up after the discovery of gold in Australia. The gold rush era, beginning in 1851, led to an enormous expansion in population all through the reign of Queen Victoria.
And did that continue strongly?
Not really. After the excitement of the gold rush died down, immigration slowed down considerably. The popularity of Australia as a place to go and live only really shot up after the Second World War.
Didn't that cause problems as well?
Yes, for a country that's well known today for its multicultural diversity and tolerance, Australia's had a checkered past. After the federation of all the Australian states, the White Australia policy was created to counteract flows of non-whites to Australia, and this policy became even more popular after the population push following the war.
How did the policy come about?
The origin of the policy can be traced back to the 1850s, when large numbers of Chinese immigrated to Australia to look for gold or to set up businesses such as restaurants. The Anglo-Australian population resented the Chinese, who were undercutting white labour prices. In response, the newly self-governing colonies introduced restrictions on Chinese immigration. By 1888, Chinese were excluded from all the Australian colonies, although those Chinese who were already in Australia were not deported.
And how long did it go on for?
The effective end of the White Australia policy is usually dated to 1973, when the Whitlam Labour government implemented a series of amendments preventing the enforcement of racial aspects of the immigration law. It had been fading for some years, though. Under the 1950 Colombo Plan, students from Asian countries were admitted to study at Australian universities. This trend continued when in 1957 non-whites with 15 years residence in Australia were allowed to become citizens.
You now have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 26 to 30.
What's immigration like today? I hear a lot about it in the news.
Yes, it's become a very important issue in politics. There are currently two immigration programs that allow permanent migration to Australia. They are the Migration Program and the Humanitarian Program.
What's the difference?
To be accepted into Australia under the Migration Program, a person must be a skilled migrant or sponsored by a family member that already lives in Australia. The Department of Immigration says that the Migration Program for 2004-2005 has 120,000 places available for migrants, with a strong focus on attracting skilled people and people who agree to live in regional areas of Australia.
What about the other program? What's it called again?
The Humanitarian Program. It's designed for refugees and others in special humanitarian need. One component of the Humanitarian Program is the Offshore Resettlement Program, which assists people in humanitarian need overseas for whom resettlement in another country is the only option. The other component is for those people already in Australia who arrived on temporary visas or in an unauthorised manner and who claim Australia's protection. The Department of Immigration says that the size of the 2004 and 2005 humanitarian program is 13,000 places.
What about illegal immigration? Do you know anything about that too?
Just a bit. That's what I'm working on now. Illegal migrants under Australia's immigration laws are those who enter Australia without authority, overstay visas, work without appropriate approval, or have their visas cancelled. Australia's Migration Act in 1958 requires that all non-Australian citizens who are unlawfully in Australia be detained, and that unless they are given permission to remain in Australia, they must be deported as soon as is practical.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I'm sure your presentation will be excellent.
Thanks, I hope so.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of an Earth Sciences lecture. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 36. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 36.
Good morning and welcome to this Earth Sciences lecture. We've been looking recently at such phenomena as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic eruptions, and other natural occurrences. Today we're going to look at a lesser known feature of the Earth, which is known as the supervolcano. As the name implies, this is a volcano of a much larger size than what we normally imagine a volcano to be. The term supervolcano has no specifically defined scientific meaning. It is used to refer to volcanoes that have generated Earth's largest volcanic eruptions. As such, a supervolcano would be one that has produced an exceedingly large, catastrophic explosive eruption and a giant caldera, a caldera being the gigantic crater that the eruption creates. Whereas normal volcanic craters are measured in the hundreds of meters, a caldera can easily be as large as 40 or 50 miles wide. Around the world there are several volcanic areas that can be considered supervolcanoes, such as Long Valley in eastern California, Toba in Indonesia, and Lake Taupo in New Zealand. There are also other large calderas in Japan, Indonesia, Scotland, and Alaska. Not all the calderas are active though. Normal volcanoes are formed by a column of magma, rising from deep within the Earth, erupting on the surface, and hardening in layers down the sides. This forms the familiar cone-shaped mountain we associate with volcanoes. Supervolcanoes, however, begin life when magma rises from the Earth's mantle to create a boiling reservoir in the Earth's crust. This chamber increases to an enormous size, building up colossal pressure until it finally erupts. An explosion like this could send ash, dust, and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, reflecting the sun's rays and creating a cold wave lasting several years. Crops in many areas would fail, and many species of animals and plants, including humans, would face extinction. The most recent caldera-forming eruption in the US was about 650,000 years ago in the northeast United States. During that eruption, ground-hugging flows of hot volcanic ash, pumice, and gases swept across an area of more than 3,000 square miles. The eruption also shot a column of volcanic ash and gases high into Earth's stratosphere. This volcanic cloud circled the globe many times and affected the Earth's climate by reducing the intensity of solar radiation reaching the lower atmosphere and surface. Fine volcanic ash that fell downwind from the eruption site blanketed much of North America. This ash layer is still preserved in deposits as far away as Iowa, where it is a few inches thick, and the Gulf of Mexico, where it is recognizable in drill cores from the seafloor.
You now have some time to look at questions 37 to 40. Now listen to the rest of the lecture and answer questions 37 to 40.
It is little known that lying under one of the United States' largest and most picturesque national parks, Yellowstone Park, is one of the largest supervolcanoes in the world. Volcanic activity began in the Yellowstone National Park region about 2 million years ago. Magma rising from deep within the Earth has produced 3 cataclysmic eruptions, more powerful than any in the world's recorded history. The first caldera-forming eruption occurred about 2.1 million years ago. The eruptive blast removed so much magma from its subsurface storage reservoir that the ground above it collapsed into the magma chamber and left a caldera larger than the state of Rhode Island. The huge caldera measured as much as 50 miles long, 40 miles wide, and hundreds of meters deep, extending from outside Yellowstone National Park into the central area of the park. Scientists have revealed that Yellowstone Park has been on a regular eruption cycle of 600,000 years. The last eruption was 640,000 years ago, so the next is overdue. The next eruption could be 2,500 times the size of the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. Volcanologists have been tracking the movement of magma under the park and have calculated that in parts of Yellowstone the ground has risen over 0.7 of a meter this century. This means the magma is rising. Geologists have called for a task force to be set up to consider emergency management in the event of a massive volcanic eruption or supereruption. Experts say such an event would have a colossal impact on a global scale. The fallout from a supereruption could cause a volcanic winter, devastating global agriculture and causing mass starvation. One past supereruption struck at Toba in Sumatra 74,000 years ago and is thought by some to have driven the human race to the edge of extinction. Signs from DNA suggest human numbers could have dropped to about 10,000, probably as a result of the effects of climate change. The volcanic winter resulting from a supereruption could last several years or decades, depending on the scale of an eruption, and according to recent computer models, could cause cooling on a global scale by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of listening test 10. In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers onto the listening answer sheet.
Done. Transfer થઈ ગયું?
No, ma'am, transfer ચાલુ કર્યું.
Okay, transfer કરી લો. Once you're done with the transferring, please let me know. You're still allowed to take the whole test.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody, please confirm. Kalapika done. Kalapika and Devanshi.
Yes, ma'am. My turn.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Devansh,
Yes, ma'am.
done?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay. It's 5-6. Sharp at 6-6. Your reading would end. Please start solving. Reading. Last 2 minutes to go, students. Last 2 minutes to go. Okay, everyone, please stop with your reading. Done? Reading? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Now, please continue with your writing task. 6676, it would end. Students, kindly solve and submit it. After 5 minutes, your time will get over. I'll be ending the meeting here now. And tomorrow you'll get your results. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.